Man, when you get above 500, do you see those blocks? The 2x blocks are now over 1,000, four figures. The first time you see that, it gets a little, you're like, whoa, that's a lot. So you never know. Somewhere in the 500 to 700 range, I would say, is my average, but we're aiming high and we'll see what happens here today. I don't remember how I discovered or when I downloaded most of the mobile games that are on my phone, but this one I remember vividly, the exact moment. I'm back and we are playing Ballz with a Z from Ketchapp today from level 560. And this is around the level where I often find my demise in games where I don't use extra lives or cheat or anything like that. We haven't talked much about that yet, but so you never know. Somewhere in the 500 to 700 range, I would say, is my average, but we're aiming high and we'll see what happens here today. And while we do this playthrough, I thought I would tell you the story of how I first discovered this game. I don't remember how I discovered or when I downloaded most of the mobile games that are on my phone, but this one I remember vividly, the exact moment. It was spring break of 2022, and here's the context of what was going on at that time. My husband and I, we have 3 kids, and my daughter was finishing up high school. She was a senior in high school. This was her last spring break. And we were also planning on moving abroad later that year. We moved out of the country. And so what we did was my husband took our middle son abroad, went to go figure some stuff out and find where we were going to live and all that kind of stuff, scope it out. And meanwhile, I took my daughter and my younger son on her dream request spring break for her senior year. And what she wanted to do was go to Disneyland in California. She wanted to go to Disneyland. Now, I'm not equipped for that kind of travel planning. Disney is its own universe, and you have to understand, the hotels and the campuses and the packages and the, wristbands and reservations and all this kind of stuff. Fast passes and I don't know. There's people who are really good at figuring that out and navigating it, and I am not one of those people. So we found someone who is good at that. I found through a friend who had used this person before. There are travel agents who specialize in Disney. And so I worked with this person and she planned us out a Disney trip, all the schedule and where we were going and which campus and which tickets and which reservations and the whole shebang. It was great. So somewhere along the way, the other thing to know is spring break at Disney, there's a ton of people. It's super crowded. And so we were spent a decent amount of our time waiting in lines, waiting in the long lines, winding around to ride the rides and do the activities and all that kind of stuff. And it was whichever day that we were on the side of campus where it's called the Adventure Park or something like this. And it's where the Avengers stuff is and some other things. And I remember very specifically, we were waiting in the line for the Spider-Man movie or the Spider-Man ride, something about web slingers, which was actually a really fun ride. And this particular line was not that exciting. Sometimes at Disney, they're really good. The line itself is part of the experience and it goes pretty quick because there's things to keep you occupied. But this one just kind of wound back and forth and we were moving slowly. And I looked over and my daughter was playing this game. And I said, what is that? What game is that? And she told me, so I looked it up on the spot and downloaded it. And that was the first time I discovered and started playing Ballz. I remember it very clearly. Now, maybe I'm crazy, but now whenever I see these lines of balls ricocheting off of things, if I use my imagination, can see that it could look like Spider-Man web slinging, web strings swinging, bouncing off the buildings and things like that. Okay, maybe that's a stretch, I'll grant it. But so that is my story. Like I said, it's only a little bit about this game, which is what this channel is about. It uses the game as a foundation to share, to connect, and to just have some fun. So let's see what happens here for a couple more rounds. We're now at 575. And you've been seeing some of the way that I approach it and the strategies that I use, which I'll be talking about. And in my first video on this channel, this is only the second video on my YouTube channel. And the first one is about math, the Ballz math, and all these numbers and how it all adds up and how that kind of informs the strategies that you use. So check that out if you're interested. Here he goes, web slinging. And we've got a good amount of space and ricocheting going on here, looking pretty good. Man, when you get above 500, do you see those blocks? The 2x blocks are now over 1,000, 4 figures. The first time you see that, it gets a little, I don't know, shocking, surprising. And you're like, whoa, that's a lot. Ooh, that's kind of a long row. Oh, and we're blocked in. Gotta break through. When this happens, you gotta break through. Let's see what we can do. And it only takes like a couple of mistakes in a row and you could be headed towards your demise. It piles up on you quite quickly. But I think we might have saved it here in this case. What am I gonna do? I got one more chance to aim high before I really have to deal with what's coming at me here. What am I thinking? We'll try and get up there. Do you think we can get up there? Oh, nice. All right, now we gotta take these down and we'll see what happens. And now this is a little taste of what it was like waiting in lines with me at Disney World 3.5 years ago, playing this game together and making it work. Look at that. And now we're in good shape. So thanks for playing with me. Stick around and keep an eye on what's coming, and I'll see you again soon.